guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hey girlies. So today's video is going to be a story time. Now this is one that I've told on my Instagram live maybe once or twice over the past couple of years, but I've never shared it on my YouTube channel, so I figured why not share it today. Like, it does have a good message behind it, and I hope that people can start listening more to their gut and their intuition, and they won't end up in situations like the one that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, where my friend basically almost set me up here in Vegas. This happened in 2016 in the beginning of the year. This was right before I moved to Los Angeles. I was actually going to move to LA with this girl, but so many like bad things started happening just in the weeks leading up to me and her. Like, we even went to the apartment complex and like we were checking it out. Like, I moved to 1600 Vine when I first moved to LA. Like, she was there with me to tour the apartment, everything, but like after all this like stuff kept playing out, because this is the same girl that left me in the hotel room with that guy Tree that ended up stalking me once I moved to LA because she wanted to go and meet up with somebody at the bar that she didn't even know. So this is that same girl that put me in that position, and that's why we stopped being friends, because after that happened I was like, okay, like, you're obviously like okay with just like leaving me and like having me be in these questionable positions because you want to go and do something, or it's something that's going to benefit you. So pay attention to who you really call a friend at the end of the day, because sometimes people are really only out for themselves and they don't care what might happen to you. And I just realized that like this girl clearly does not care about me and care about my safety. So that's why I ended up moving to LA with Alexia instead, which I'm glad I did, because I feel like some shit would have definitely went down if I would have moved in with this girl. She probably would have had people coming in and out of our apartment. Before we get started with today's video, we're actually sponsored by Warby Parker, and if you guys have never heard of them, they are a company that provides exceptional vision care service as far as doing eye exams, sunglasses, eyeglasses. You can get contacts through them, and this is online and in store. And what makes their brand stick out is that they do it with really good pricing. You could actually get glasses starting at $95, including prescription lenses. Because I already have a million pairs of glasses and I'm already pretty good when it comes to like contact lenses, I wanted to get a pair of blue light glasses. I went ahead and did their home try-on program, so let me show you guys how you can do it and then the whole process. So I'm going to show you guys the entire process. So you can go ahead and open up their app. You'll see on the front page, it'll give you like kind of an idea of some glasses they have. So the idea is to pick 5 frames, spend up to 5 days with them, and then send them back, and you actually order the glasses that you ended up liking. So as you can see, I'm taking the quiz. I looked at women lenses. I chose medium face. We all know I should have probably clicked wide. But then you go ahead and pick the shape of glasses that you like. So I personally like round and square glasses on myself. I chose black, and then here you could choose the material that you want. I put no preference because it didn't matter to me. Then they go ahead and give you your results, and you'll see several glasses that they picked out for you that they think that you'll like. So here you just basically see me, you know, checking out some of the glasses, adding some of them to my home try-on. And a really cool feature that they have is virtual try-on. So if you want, you could actually open up your camera and kind of get an idea of how the glasses might look on your face. Next, of course, you're going to put in all of your shipping information, and then they're going to ask you for a credit card just in case you do not return the glasses. They're obviously going to have to charge you for the frames. And then you wait, you know, about 5 days and your glasses should be at your door. So after a few days, my glasses came in the mail. You guys are going to see me try them on. I love the cheetah pair that you see. Like, gives me Snooki vibes. Like, I just really love them. So those are the ones that I actually went with. And like I told you guys, I did blue light lenses just because I'm always on my computer and my phone. So I just want to protect my eyes a little bit better while I already wear contacts, you know. But they also have regular sunglasses. They have their own daily contact lenses called Scout by Warby Parker. You can get a 90-day pack for only $55, and they carry tons of brands like AccuView, Biofinity as well. And something else I really like about the brand is that they actually give away a pair of glasses to someone in need for every pair sold through a nonprofit like Vision Spring. So you're also giving back by picking up a pair of glasses for yourself. So if you're interested in trying out Warby Parker's free home try-on program, where you get 5 pairs of glasses for free at home, it ships for free. They also include a prepaid shipping label, so all you have to do is drop it off at the post office. Super easy. You can go to warbyparker.com/Vanessa, and thank you, Warby Parker, for sponsoring us today. So how do I know this girl? I described her already a little bit in the story time where I told you guys about Tree, if you remember that. But this girl, we went to high school together. We were friends from like my sophomore year to my junior year, and she didn't come back to the school my senior year. But we had a situation our junior year that she just completely cut me off for this stupid ass reason, and I'm gonna share it with you guys because I just think it is so like goofy just to like look back and think about it. So one day, me and my friends would always go and sit in the library after we ate our food. Like we would eat it really fast and go chill in there, just like talk, because it was quiet in there. Like the lunchroom was always packed. I used to go to Valley Vista High School in Surprise, Arizona. And like the lunchroom would always be packed full of people. Like everyone had their like table, so if you didn't manage to get to your table in time and someone else took it, then like you have nowhere to sit. And this girl ended up like joining our group or whatever, and she would come in there with us. So one day she comes inside the library. This girl always had a new designer bag, and when I say designer, like at the time I mean like Juicy Couture, Kate Spade, like, you know, when you could find those like brands instead of like Marshalls or TJ Maxx, and you pay like $49 for it instead of paying like $150 like the tag says. So to me at the time, that was like super expensive designer. I mean, still I go to TJ Maxx, I still go to Marshalls and all those stores, and I see a bag and it's like $49. I'm like, I feel like Wish might have that for cheaper. I think I could find that on Amazon for 10 bucks. But this girl always had like one of those types of designer bags, and I'm like, oh my god, she always has like a cute ass bag. But this day she came in with a Louis bag, and I knew about Louis bags because of Miss Trisha Paytas, because at the time like I was super into watching her videos when she would always do like new bag unboxings, new hauls. So she always had like the new latest things. So that's how I kept up to date with like designer items and like what the latest thing was, because Trisha was always showing the newest bag. When she came in with this bag, I was like looking at it like, oh my god, I've never seen one of these in person. Like it's expensive. Like I'm looking at it closely, and I noticed the inside of it is green. And I'm like, okay, I don't think Louis makes bags green on the inside. I was just kind of like, hey girl, like when did you get this bag? And she's like, oh, I just got it a couple days ago. It's nice, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is, but I think you got scammed because Louis doesn't make bags that are green like that on the inside. That's not a thing, and you just got this bag, right? I think you got a fake bag. And she took that as an insult, I guess, and she took her bag and was like, fuck you, like never fucking talk to me again. Like, what do you think you're trying to do? You're trying to embarrass me. Keep in mind, I did not say this around a ton of people. We're in a library, so you're already being quiet in there in the first place. So like I wasn't trying to embarrass her in any sort of way, but obviously she got embarrassed over that, and she never spoke to me again, and we went literally the entire like school year never speaking to each other again. And the next year she left the school, so no one knows like what happened to her until she came back into my life. This girl, I don't know if I reached out to her or if she reached out to me again, but we rekindled. We started hanging out again. We became friends again, and like everything was cool between me and her. She actually moved into like this really nice apartment in Scottsdale, so like we would always have sleepovers over there. She had a plug, so like we'd always like smoke the ganj, and I was never a drinker, but she was, and she kind of got me into that because she had a fake ID, and she had a friend that looked kind of like me. And I used that fake ID to get into clubs with her. We'd go to bars all the time in Scottsdale. I think it's because ASU was over there that they probably knew that I was underage, because like when I was 19 years old, I still looked like I was like 16. So it was very obvious that like, girl, you are not 21. But I think like because that was the crowd that they always had around, they just kind of like just go in, like they didn't really care. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, girl, this is not you, stop. So like I just got into a lot of stuff with this girl. I started dressing a little bit more scandalously, and I take full like responsibility for everything I did. So I hope I don't come across as like, oh, I'm blaming everything in this situation on her. Like me and her, like we would always be all over the place. Like we had fun. Like I will admit, me and her had a lot of fun. We would always do like little trips. We would drive out to LA, just get an Airbnb for the day or for 2 days, because it was only like a 4-hour, 5-hour drive. So we're like, why not? Like, let's just go. You know, I was never not down to do like a little trip. Like I said, I was just doing YouTube at the time. But one weekend she's like, okay, let's go to Vegas. And I was like, okay, like I'm down for that. I've been there a couple of times. Me and Ruthie would always go to Vegas together for like concerts, like stuff like that, because sometimes Phoenix would get skipped when it would come to like smaller like bands and stuff. So like we would just like drive out there or just go out there just like look at stuff, because we were only like 18 years old, so obviously like what are you gonna do in Vegas at 18? You don't really have any business there, there's nothing to do. I'm like, okay, like I haven't been to Vegas in a minute, like let's go, thinking it's just gonna be like an innocent trip. Like we have our fake IDs, but I'm like, they're probably not gonna even work out there, so I doubt we're gonna be drinking. It's just gonna be like us hanging out and stuff. When we first got there, like everything was cool, but I noticed that she wanted to just, you know, keep going out to clubs, and I'm like, dude, like I feel like the fake ID is not going to work. I can't remember if it was Omnia or it was some like other club, but we tried to get in. Her ID worked, mine didn't. They're like, we can tell this is not you in the photo, like you're obviously a child. We're gonna call the police if you don't get the fuck out of here. So I was like, okay, we're not gonna try that again. So I was like, okay, we can't go to clubs and stuff out here because like they can obviously tell that like that's not me and I'm not old enough to be here in the first place. She was like, I still want to go out and like do something, and like we were walking on the strip. It was like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, which I remember being very bold back then. Like why was I walking around at nighttime that late? Like especially since I've gone through some shit only maybe like 6 or 7 months before that. So the fact that I was like being bold enough to be on the strip that late was very naive of me, because even today, like I know I don't want to be on the strip walking around past like maybe 11:30 because like you never know, like some shit might pop off. So she was like, oh, like I actually know some people at this club, because I forgot to mention, but this friend, she was a dancer. So she was like in the industry, like working at like different clubs and stuff. So like it wasn't like anything new to her. And she said like, oh, I know some people at this club, like let's go, they're gonna get us in. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's gonna be cool. Thinking that we're going to a club, and we pull up to a strip club. Like we're not gonna have a problem getting in. And she's like, no, it's actually 21. So like you need to try to use your ID again, but it's like dark in there. So like they're probably not gonna say anything. So I'm like, okay. So I go, I give them my ID, they look at it, they're like, go ahead. And she, this time I remember, ended up having trouble with her fake ID, and they're like, it's not scanning, it's not scanning. And I think she gave them some money, and they're like, okay, just go girl, like who cares? Which I wish they would have turned us away, because then all of this like stupid shit would have never even happened in the first place. So once we get inside the club, she immediately goes to the bar, gets us like some drinks or whatever. Like I said, our ID said that we were 21, so they gave us this like little wristband that said like, oh, like 21 plus, so like you can get drinks in there and all that. So she goes and gets us some drinks, and she tells me like, oh, like go to the stage, go pick a booth, like do whatever you want, like I'm gonna be over here and I'm gonna like get our drinks or whatever. So I'm at the like stage, I'm like, yes, like throwing money at the girls. They're like talking to me and stuff. Like even after they got off the sage, they'd come and sit next to me and be like, girl, what are you doing in here? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, like my friend brought me here. We ended up getting like a booth or whatever, and it was like me, my friend, and like a couple of girls, and we're all just like talking about like random stuff. And they're like, girl, you should dance. And I'm like, girl, I have no ass, why are you lying to me? I'm gonna be shaking bones on the stage. I noticed the entire time my friend is so focused on some guy that's sitting a couple tables away from us, and it's very obvious that like they're looking at each other. And I'm like, why do they keep like staring at each other? So I asked her after the girls leave, I'm like, do you know him? So eventually, like, I'm like, oh, like, I'm gonna go find somebody to go and, like, give us some more, like, hookah, like, one of those little, like, I've only smoked hookah, like, a few times in my life, so, like, I don't even remember, what is it called, the little cube thing that they put on top, and then, like, they burn that, like, that's what you're, like, smoking. Which, by the way, like, I don't smoke hookah anymore just because I found out that, like, every time you smoke it, it's like smoking 100 cigarettes. So I was like, okay, girl, like, we're not trying to, like, have our lungs collapse. And then there I go becoming a stoner, like, my lungs gonna collapse some way or another, okay? While I'm going to go and get this, like, cube thing and, like, find some person to, like, come and help us, my friend goes over to the table where that guy is at, and I see them, like, laughing and talking. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go over there and, like, be awkward. I just go back to the table and I'm waiting for her. And when she comes back over to me, she's like, oh, we're gonna leave with him. And I was like, we? I hear you talking about we a lot. We speak French now. What do you mean we? I'm not going anywhere with you and him. Like, what? Like, who is this man? We don't even know him. Like, girl, how are you gonna just tell me, like, we're leaving with him? Like, who is this? And she's never done that before, so I'm not like, oh, this is normal. Like, she always has this, like, going to people's houses. No, like, I did not know this man. She's never tried to do something like this before. So I'm like, what do you mean we're gonna go with him? Like, who is this? And this guy, like, I just keep looking at him from the corner of my eye, and he had a flip phone. So that immediately, like, I'm not trying to say, like, oh my God, like, he was broke, he had a flip phone. No, like, when I see a flip phone, and a sketchy ass dude. I'm like, okay, like he has a burner phone, it's very obvious. And she's like, oh, like we're gonna go hang out with him. Like he said that like he has a room at the Delano, like he has like the presidential suite. Like I've never been in there before, and her eyes are all like big, she's all excited, and I'm like, girl, it's just a hotel room. like do you want to stay in there that bad? Like I'm in my bag, like let me get us the presidential suite, okay? Like we do not need to go with some random man to go and see a view or a room. Like you want to see a view, we can go to the Stratosphere, it's free. So I'm just like, dude, no, like I'm not gonna just go to this like random room with this guy. And she's like, stop being lame, like you're gonna ruin the fun, like this is like an opportunity for us. And I'm like, an opportunity? Like to go in a hotel room? Okay, I'm talking so fast and I'm running out of breath. Sometimes I forget that I'm 6 months pregnant and I'm just like trying to ramble and ramble. I was like, girl, you're gonna pass out, like breathe. So I'm over here like, girl, like no opportunity is being ruined for me if I don't go with this man. Like you're acting crazy, like stop talking crazy to me. And she's like, you know what, like let me go talk to him again. I'm like, about what? Like I said no. So she goes to talk to him, and then he comes over too, and he's like, hey, like you don't want to come to the room, like you think I'm sketchy or something. And I was like, I don't know you. Like, sir, I don't know you. I don't, like, what are you trying to do? And then he pulls out like this like big ass wad of like, why did I have to like do all that? But like, he pulls out this wad of like $100 bills, and he's like, I got money, like don't worry about nothing, like you're good, like you're gonna be set, like don't miss out. And I'm like, so I'm just like, I'm not like, you're not impressing anybody with your wad of money. Like, so I'm like trying to like put his ego down a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm sorry if there's a lot of cuts in this video, by the way. I keep burping, so like that's why he keeps like chop chop. He's like, yeah, like I have this like room at the Delano, like I have the presidential suite, like I got a ton of friends over there, like let's go get lit, let's go have fun, like stop buying drinks here, like stop buying hookah, like we got better shit up there. And my friend's like, see, like come on, let's go, like it's gonna be so much fun. And it's like the both of them are sitting here like, come on, come on, come on. And I'm like feeling pressured, and I'm like, oh my god, like first of all, bitch, like I told my friend, and I'm not very like open about stuff that I go through, but I was very open with her because one night like we got drunk and I was just like sharing with her like a lot of shit. She was sharing shit with me, and I told her what happened to me in May, and I was like, dude, like I'm looking at her like, did you forget, like I just went through some like traumatic shit with like a stranger, and like maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to like put me in the position of like being around like a bunch of men by ourselves in a room, like, and then just us, because I was like, is there gonna be any girls? And they're like, nah, like it's just me and my boys. Like, dude, what do you think that sounds like? Like I'm not a telly teen. Like, and I'm laughing, like obviously like I went through some shit, but like I'm just trying to like not cry. But I'm just like, dude, like this doesn't sound like an ideal situation for me to be in. I pull her to the side and I'm like, I don't want to go. And she's like, okay, well if you don't go, I'm going to go by myself. And immediately, like I'm the girl that always like takes care of my friends. Like you could ask any of my friends. I'm usually the designated driver. Even if we would go out, like if my friends are like, I'm gonna black out tonight, I'm like, great, that means I can't drink. I would rather miss out on feeling lit, feeling high, and making sure that my friends get home safe. Like I was always that friend, like, and I know there were some people that would always be like, oh my god, like you guys are ruining it, like now I can't drink. No, like if anything, like alcohol usually made me sick, and it still does to this day. The last time I drank was me and Anthony on New Year's last year, and I got so sick and I was like, okay, I can't do this. She's going to go regardless. So let me just like go see what this is about, check out the situation, and if like I really don't feel safe, let me not go. But this entire time I had this feeling like in my like chest, like I felt like this tight feeling of like, don't go. If you go, something is going to happen to you. And the whole point of me telling the story is like, listen to your intuition, like listen to what your body and your gut is telling you, because we all have intuition. It's just some of us ignore it and some of us follow it. And if you follow it, you're gonna avoid a lot of situations and putting yourself in positions that are not the safest. Okay, like I'm gonna have to like watch her, and the guy's like, okay, like we're gonna go, right? And eventually after like 15-20 minutes of them like screaming at me like, come on, let's go, let's go, I'm like, okay, fine, let's go, like let me call an Uber for us. And he's like, don't worry, like I have a private driver waiting outside already for us. And I'm like, private driver? And he's like, I already told you about my money. And I'm like, okay, We go outside, there's like this giant ass like blacked out Escalade sitting out there, and I'm like, oh, is this the car? And he's like, yeah, like just hop on in. So we get inside the car, him and my friend are just like, you know, being loud, like, you know, going along with the music, and I'm just like all awkward, like staring out the window like this, just like, oh my god, like what's about to happen? Like, why did I put myself in this position? Nobody knew that I was going to this place except for her. Like now these days, me and my friends usually have each other's locations on. Obviously now I'm in like a serious relationship, so like Anthony always knows where I'm at, and like I always know where he's at and stuff. But like back then, like when I wasn't in a relationship or anything, like me and my friends did not have our locations on with each other. So like you should always tell somebody where you're going to be. So if you're planning on going and meeting somebody on Tinder or meeting somebody that you don't know personally for the first time, always tell a friend or a family member where you're going. And even send your like current location and have them be able to see. Like I know it's like an invasion of privacy, but like wouldn't you rather somebody know where you're at just in case something happens, you know what I mean? So as we, you know, get to the Delano, we end up going through like the back entrance, and I'm like super sketched out. I'm like, okay, like what is this? Like where are we going? And the guy's like, oh, like I want to gamble a little bit, like are you guys down? You want to like spend some money? And I was like, oh, like I only had that money for the strippers. Like I was joking, I don't have any money. Like I didn't want to make them think that like, or make him think that like, oh, I have all this money in my bag or something, and then like I possibly get robbed or something once I go up to the room, because you never know once that door closes. We ended up going to the casino. He's like, him and my friend are at a table, and she's like, ah, like they're all like screaming, like, you know, playing with the stuff or whatever, and I'm just on my phone like scrolling through Instagram, minding my business. At this point it's probably like 2:30 in the morning. Only a couple of the tables were open, but like there was still a lot of people in the casino. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people here, I don't feel like too unsafe. But at the time, the Delano was also a little bit newer, I think. So it wasn't as like hustle bustle as like Caesar's Palace or like one of these other, like the Cosmopolitan might be, you know what I mean? So like there was people there, but it wasn't like super packed. So I didn't feel like too unsafe just being in the casino. But I was still freaking out about going up to the room the entire time. So while you gamble, you can actually also get free drinks. So like here's a little Vegas hack. Don't buy drinks, go to any sort of table, any of the like slot machines, and as long as you're obviously 21, they're gonna check your ID. But like you can get free drinks. Yes, you should tip the waitresses and like the girls that are bringing it to you, but like it's cheaper to give them a couple dollars and get that drink for free versus going to a bar and spending like $15 to $30 on, you know, a cocktail or something. So like there's a little Vegas tip. So my friend's over here drinking with this guy, and I'm like, I'm not about to drink because like I need to watch her and I need to be fully aware of like what's going on right now in her situation. I already had a drink at the what's it called, the strip club. I wasn't faded, I wasn't buzzed or anything, but I just like I immediately sobered up when this guy like came into our like area. So like I was not about to like do anything else. After maybe like 30 minutes of like sitting there, time flew really fast, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. He's like, okay, like my friends are ready for you guys to come upstairs. We go back to the hotel lobby. He's acting a fool. He's throwing pillows all over the place. He's like picking up the blankets and like running around with them like he's Superman or something. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Even the like hotel like clerk lady, the one person that was like there at the desk, she's like, put that down, like stop touching stuff, like sir, I'm gonna have to call security if you don't stop. And he's like, shut up, like shut the fuck up, like I'm staying here, like being super disrespectful. And like he wasn't being that disrespectful before, so I'm like, okay, like this man is like rude, he's mean, like he's been drinking, like I don't feel comfortable doing all that or even going up to this room at all. Like I didn't feel comfortable to start with, but now like I officially don't feel any sort of comfort going up in this room, because like look how disrespectful he's being to this like just worker lady. Like he doesn't know me, he doesn't know my friend. Like if we go in that room and the door shuts and he like flips on us, like we're fucked. He kept pulling out the flip phone like, okay, like I'm about to bring the girls up, like whatever. And my friend's like, okay, I'm gonna go up. And I was like, dude, I don't want to go up there. Like I just, the light keeps changing. I'm like staring at myself in the viewfinder like, okay, glow, and then pale, and then glow. But my friend's like, I'm just gonna go and like check it out and I will come right back down. And I was like, dude, like that doesn't sound right to me, like that's scary. So eventually she's like, you know what, like I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna put you in my pocket, and I'm gonna go upstairs, and like if you hear anything, obviously like then call security or something, but like that's not gonna happen. I'm like, dude, like we shouldn't even be going up there, like let's just leave, like let's just go. So she goes up there. Once she gets in the elevator, the call hangs up and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't even know what room they're going to. I don't know where they're even going. So I'm like freaking out in the lobby, like having a panic attack by myself. She comes back down by herself and she's like, dude, it's fine, like just come up. And I was like, how many people were in there? Was there other women? Like what kind of guys were in there? Like were they like sleazy type? Were they young? Were they our age, older? And she's like, I don't know, they're all like in their like 20s, but like there's maybe like 12 guys in there. And I'm like, is there any girls? And she's like, no, there's no girls, it's just gonna be us. And I was like, how does that sound right to you? Like how does it not like creep you out that like it's just gonna be us with these like older men? Like I had just turned 19 and she was only 18, so I'm like, that I know we're grown, but like we're not that grown, girl. So we're like arguing in the lobby this whole time, and then one of the workers is like, you guys have to go outside, like if you're not gonna like go up or go into the casino, like you can't just be like loitering here. And I'm like, oh, like don't worry, I'm gonna leave soon. And my friend is like, no you're not, like you're not leaving, you're coming upstairs with me. And I'm like, why do you want me to go upstairs so damn bad? Like that's so weird. And here comes the guy down the elevator, like being loud. You heard him before the elevator even opened. He's like, come on girls, let's go, like we already poured drinks for you, like we're ready, like we got all the good stuff up there. My friend's like, come on, like let's go, let's go. And I was like, I'm not going up there, neither are you. And I grab her arm, like come on, let's leave. So I'm like trying to walk her through the casino again so we could just like get away from these people. I'm like, I'm gonna call an Uber, we're not going up there, I have a very bad feeling about this. And the guy comes up to me and he grabs my arm and he says, where are you going? Come on. And he tries to like pull me, and I immediately like I slap him, like I slap backwards and I start running. So like I'm over here wearing one of my friend's outfits. Like I'm in like this tiny little dress. My friend was like this much shorter than me, so like the dress was very short on me, and I had on these like little like clunky type heels. Like I do not know how to walk in heels at all, so like I would always wear these same pair of like strappy like Forever 21 heels. So I'm over here like running through the freaking casino like at full speed. Like my friend, I was like, fuck this shit, like I'm out of here, like this man is not about to grab me. Like I was having flashbacks, I was starting to have like a panic attack. And I was like, no, and I just start running through the casino. My friend's like, Vanessa, Vanessa, come on, Vanessa, like stop, like Vanessa. And I don't even turn back once. I'm like, I'm in fight or flight mode type thing. Like once this guy put his hands on me, I was like, okay, like this is not going to be a good situation to be in. So I'm like, no, 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 and I'm running, and I try to get to this like little cafe area that I saw. And now at this point I'm starting to cry because I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable. How does my friend not understand? I just went through some shit and now you're trying to put me in this other position that's like triggering me and it's scaring me. So like pay attention to who you call your friends. And people all the time want to say like, oh, Vanessa doesn't have any friends. Bitch, I'm scared. Like I am genuinely scared to make friends, because every time I do, like it's like I'm not good at picking friends, and every time I do, they try to make a video about me online, or they try to start drama with me, or someone puts me in a dangerous situation and they don't care about how I feel about it. So it's like I'm at that, like I'm literally shaking now because like it infuriated me so bad at the time that like my friend, like I'm not even laughing, like my friend did not care that I did not feel safe. And like that pisses me off so much, because like we just rekindled our friendship like a month before, and like we had such good times, but like now she's like trying to put me in danger. So I'm like freaking the fuck out. So I find a little cafe, it's like by the parking lot. So I'm like at the cafe and I'm like, are you guys open? And they're like, I need to breathe. I go up to the like cafe and I'm like crying my eyes out, and the girls are like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like what happened? And I was like, I'm fine. Like my friend just tried to put me in like this really sketchy situation. Can I just stand in here with you guys? Like I don't feel safe. And they're like, yeah, come in here. Like we're closed, but like sit in here. I'm gonna get you some water. Do you want a muffin or something? And I was like, how much is it? They're like, dude, don't even worry about it. Like here, just like take it. So I'm just like in there standing with them. And then I was like, thank you so much, like you guys are so nice. So like to those girls, like I'm sure they don't remember me and they're never gonna watch this video, but like thank you, because like I was freaking the fuck out. Probably would have ended up in the parking lot having a meltdown on the floor like or something. But I'm standing in this like little cafe area, And then after I like finished my like cup of water, my muffin, like even my friend did not come looking for me at this point. Like I was standing there for maybe 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes felt like 20, felt like 30 minutes. And I'm like, where's my friend? Like I'm like texting her. I'm like, dude, where are you? Like, where are you? I'm looking around all like crazy. And I walk outside of the cafe and I'm looking for her and I'm like freaking out. Like my face is still probably red. Like I just finished crying, like makeup probably all over the place. And this older man comes up to me and he's like, hey, like, would you be interested in entertaining an older man tonight? And I'm like, what the fuck? He came up to me on some like, oh, like you want to come up to my room? Like, sir, I'm not a worker. I don't, you know, I don't participate in that stuff, and no judgment to the people that do that. You do what you have to do, like that's your life. But I was like, I am not a pro. Like, I'm like, get away from me. Like, no. And he's like, oh, like you don't have to be so fucking rude, you ugly bitch. And I'm just like, okay, like, thanks. So I'm over here crying, like sitting on this like little ledge by myself. Eventually my friend like finds me and she's like, dude, like that was so embarrassing. Like, how could you put me in that position? And I'm like, put you in that position, put me in this position. Like, how, like, do you not care about me? Like, I'm your friend. So this whole time I'm just like freaking out. I'm like yelling at her in the casino. And this fucking old ass man is still like lingering around, just like walking with his hands behind his back, just like staring at us and like walking past us a bunch of times. And I was like, this dude's over here fucking bothering me on some like, hey, come up to my room, like you want to entertain an old man for the night? And she's like, he said what? Like, was he offering you money? I was like, girl, it's very obvious what he was asking me. And she goes up to him and was like, hey. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm really actually done tonight. So I called an Uber and I was like, I already called my Uber. I'm gonna go back to the hotel. We were only staying 2 hotels over. So I was like, I'm just gonna go. If you wanna call your own Uber and get home or get there and like meet me later on, you have your own key. But like, I'm sick of this and like you are not thinking straight right now. Like, come get in the Uber with me, or like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just freaking out. Like, I just don't wanna be here anymore type situation. And it's like 3 in the morning at this point. I'm like, I wanna go to bed. Like, I'm done. This has already been too much. Like, I feel like this has just been a dangerous situation and it's just gonna get worse if we don't leave. And I'm like, what happened to that guy, by the way? Like, where is he? Like, is he still waiting on us? And she's like, yeah, like he's in the lobby. I told him that I would come and get you. And I was like, dude, I'm not going anywhere with that guy. I'm not going up there. Like, drop that idea. And she's like, you know what? Fine, whatever. Like, you ruined the night. Like, let's just go. So she's like over here like, you always have to just ruin stuff. You ruin the fun. Like, as we're going to the Uber, we get inside. We don't say anything the whole way to the, you know, hotel room. We go to sleep. We end up leaving Vegas the next day. We drove out there and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not staying here another day. Like, I'm going home. So I was like, get in the car, we're leaving. And we left. We didn't talk the entire drive there. And we probably didn't talk for maybe about like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, until she finally apologized and was like, sorry, like if I made you like feel uncomfortable, like da-na-na-na-na. And I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't have any friends at the time, so I like just forgave her. And I was like, whatever, like, it's fine. Like, I enjoyed all the times we had, but that one situation really like was not okay. And she's like, I'm not gonna put you in that position again, which is very, very, very fucking ironic, because like I said, we stopped talking for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Then right after that, we went on our trip to LA. Half of the trip that we stayed in LA, we stayed in an apartment. The other half, we stayed at this hotel. And when we stayed at the hotel, we met up with this guy who was trying to be like an influencer or whatever at the time. So like, that's how like we linked up with him, because I remember seeing his photos when I was in high school thinking like, oh my God, he's so fine, he's so cute. And when I was in LA, he just randomly DM'd me. Like, I followed him already since high school, but like he finally like followed me back out of nowhere, and he DMs me like, oh, I see you're in LA, like let's link up. So I was like, oh my God, like dream guy. Like, sure, like let's link up. And he ended up being not a good guy at all. And for that half of the trip when we stayed in the hotel, like she's like, oh, come back to the hotel with us, like we could drink at the bar. And we're going up to our hotel room, and I was trying to tell him like, oh, can you wait in the lobby for us? Can you wait in the lobby? He gets in the elevator with us, and my friend's like, it's fine, like I'm here, like nothing's gonna happen. We go up to the room. Immediately she switches out of her sneakers, puts on a dress and heels, and she's like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go meet my Tinder date downstairs at the bar. And she leaves me with this guy who, in another story time I told you guys, we called him Tree because he was super fucking tall. And she leaves me in the room with him, and this guy, like, at one point I was standing on the couch trying to get away from him because he was trying to have his way with me, and I told him, like, I'm not interested in doing that with you. Can you please stop? And like, if you want to go watch that story, go watch it, but like, I don't want to go back and say all that stuff again. She put me literally in that position of not feeling safe and just left me alone again. And after that, I was like, yeah, we are not moving in together. I do not want to be friends with you. I don't want anything to fucking do with you. And after I told her that, she blocked me on all social media. I have not heard from her since 2016. I don't know where she's at. I've actually tried to like look her up a couple times, but I have no way of finding her because like, I don't know, like I'm blocked everywhere. But that was the last time I saw her, and I hope she's doing better now. But that was not okay. So that was the situation that I went through, and I just wanted to share the story because like, you need to learn that it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to listen to your gut feeling, and if something does not feel right to you, don't go through with it. Don't let your friends peer pressure you. I mean, realistically, the only reason I like went along with everything is because I wanted to make sure she was okay and something bad didn't happen to her, because I got traumatized from the shit that happened to me just like 6 months before. Not all guys are good, and like there are a lot of good guys and there's a lot of good women, but there's a lot of bad guys and a lot of bad women, and you never know who you're going to interact with because you don't know them. So that's it for today's story time. I just wanted to share that with you guys because like, it was actually crazy, and I cannot believe that like this person continuously was like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I really hope she's doing better today. But like, I just genuinely have like such bad anxiety about being like out in public and stuff, like still to this day, because like something always pops off. Like, child, when I first moved here, the day I moved into my home, we went to Walmart and there was a shooting. How convenient. So like, it's like always something is happening, and I'd rather just stay home in my bubble and be safe in here. Like, and that's also why I have such a hard time trusting women, and you guys don't see me have a lot of girlfriends. Like I just like, I don't trust women. I don't trust straight men. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope it taught you something. I hope it was, you know, entertaining, I guess. I mean, it obviously wasn't a fun situation to be in. I could have told the story a long time ago. I've shared it on Instagram like twice, so that's why I felt like, oh, let me not even tell it on YouTube, because like these people already heard it. But like, realistically, like not that many people like watch my Instagram lives, so I thought I would share it on here. So thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Subscribe if you're not already to my channel. Check out my other videos, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.